As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be.
Oh man, it's 8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a.
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
Brav Bros. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brav Bros. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Shooter Magooter, and we have two very special guests today. We have Vanessa and Abby, the real moms of Bravo. Finally, what is up? How is everybody doing?
Hi, we're so excited to meet and talk with you guys.
We're so excited. One of our followers actually was requesting this collab, someone who listens to both of our shows. So shout out to everyone who supports both of us. You know, we're out here podcasting. It's a hustle, it's a grind, but we're doing it and so excited to be here. This is Vanessa speaking. Since there's lots of voices, this is Vanessa, and then the more sweet, gentle voice is Abby.
The more nasally voice is really what she means. Yeah.
Shoots, how you doing today, pal?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, Vanessa just said that a couple of her fans have reached out. We actually had a couple of people in our DMs talking about doing things with you guys, so it makes sense. Let's get the two of us together, and we'll have a little fun breakdown of OC today.
I have one concern. Since you are the real moms of Bravo, I cuss a lot. I'm going to try my best to not cuss as much.
We have a swear jar. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No, we cuss. I'm totally kidding. We got
I think
you
it's
have
so funny
because we can do
that.
I think it's so funny that people think when you become a mother, all of a sudden, like you're like this like classy little thing. No, we cuss like sailors as well. So we just try not to do it in front of our kids, but we cuss.
I was actually
my mom has the worst mouth ever. She cusses more than anybody I know. So I was just making sure we like to start with that because we tend to say a lot of F words and stuff. So I just like to get it out there.
Warning,
and if you do have a swear
in a car with your children, F words, F bombs are coming.
Yeah.
We've had people reach out and go, "Oh, I was listening to you guys in the car with the kids and I was laughing." So I was like, "Whoa, don't do that."
Well, also like Bravo isn't a topic kids should be hearing about. You know, it's like I think, you know, most of it is not kid appropriate. So yeah, like maybe pop in the AirPods, or, you know, if you're a mom driving a minivan like me, give the kids the headphones that come with the van and let them watch the movie.
There you go.
Yeah, there's a plug for Honda Odysseys right there, so you can.
I do drive an Odyssey. I love my Odyssey.
Perfect.
If you ever want to get a minivan, just DM me and I'll give you. I've did all the research. So
one of my close friends has two twins under 4 and a daughter under 2. And he finally made the switch to a van, and he called me, goes, "Dude, I know you're going to make fun of me, but this thing is awesome. I fucking love my van." So you're onto something.
Swear jar.
Yeah.
Put it in. There's the first one. Yeah. I'll Venmo you $100. I'll probably still owe you money at the end of this.
Let's just do that up front.
Yeah. But we are here to talk a little bit of OC. What do you guys, before we get into this recap, how did you both, Vanessa and Abby, feel about last season of OC? I want to gauge the temperature here before we dive in.
So OC, I have a little bit of a bias because, I mean, obviously for those of us that started with Housewives from day one, we started with OC. I think you've got to just respect the foundation that built Housewives. That being said, I mean, we've had some rougher seasons. I don't think, I mean, the return of Tamara was great and has been great. So I think, you know, you disagree. That's so fun. I do love Vicky though. So I'm like, I do feel like Bravo, as much as I love Bravo, like the way they just like fuck with Vicky is so unfair. Like she's not a friend of, she's not full-time. She's at every event. She's like, you know, and Vicky and I had a heart-to-heart where we both were holding hands and crying a little over a week ago. So like, I feel like I have an even more newfound respect for her. But I thought last season was improvement. I mean, I feel like when we got rid of Tamara, we had Bronwyn, we had COVID. Like those were some rough seasons, and we're slowly making our way up. But I feel like, Steele, you disagree. Vanessa, I think, disagrees too.
No, I was just going to say I don't remember last season. So I'm here for the ride. That said, I've always felt this way about OC. It's just, aside from the early years, it's never like really hit for me. However, I am enjoying it so far. I think we've got a good cast of women. you, I don't know how I feel about newbie Katie yet. Like I feel like that's like TBD, but
Mhm.
I'm feeling good. Worried about Jen and her future. I think Gina's got some reasons to be concerned there, given everything that's in the news. But I digress.
Yeah, I think
No,
I
that
think it's a perfect storm too for this year because more importantly than the cast, we have the cast going through a lot of traumatic events. And that makes for great TV all the time, which they didn't have anything last year. All they had last year was Tamara coming back, trying way too hard. Sorry, Abby. She was trying way too hard. She brought a friend on the show, then said, I'm not really friends with you, but we know that you brought her on the show. And then you threw her under the bus immediately with her current boyfriend and ex-husband and all this shit that she was going on and on about. So last season did not hit at all. And I agree with Vanessa. OC's a little hit or miss, but I think that Vicky should be a mainstay in this show, and that's what they're lacking. They need her to be there all the time. You can't bring Alexis back on the show purely because she's dating John Janssen. Like that's the only reason that that Alexis is back on the show. Otherwise, what is she doing? That's her number one goal here. That's all she's going to talk about. Once that really dies out over the next like 2 episodes, we're going to be bored with her. Why not have Vicky there? Vicky could easily do it. She knows what she's doing. She's a fan favorite. Everybody loves her. She whoops it up. That's all we really want to see. And we need that in the midst of all of these crazy downturns that are going on with Gina and Jen being poor and not being able to pay her bills. Like it's crazy. I need Vicky in there to whoop it up and have some fun.
I'm confused how you get the Lifetime Housewife Award and then
Yeah.
you still can't be on a show. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Is
No,
that to like keep her at bay? It's like here's your award now
maybe.
kick
I think
rocks.
they
I don't
can't afford her. I think it comes down to numbers, and given like she's asking more, I'm sure what she deserves. I'm sure it comes down to a numbers game there, but I'm like, just pay her, please pay her.
I
And
can't
honestly,
imagine
like
that Heather Dubrow's not asking for a shit ton of money. Like
Or Tamara. I mean, it's not.
or
Yeah, well,
Tamara.
Tamara actually is
Yeah,
probably thirsty enough to come back for a
Yeah.
smaller. Yeah.
She has to do
without a
she has to
doubt.
do publicity for her podcast. That's what she's doing it for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no shit. No kidding. But let's jump into this week. And you guys talked about Gina a little bit already. So last week we had the Brooke Ashley on our podcast, and she read Gina the entire episode, and it was very funny. But I'm curious because Vanessa, you had a little bit of a different take. So I want to hear your response to that coffee shop date, if you want to call it that, that they had where Gina came in ready to go. She didn't really let Jen talk. She just was like, I'm going to crucify you in front of 30 people and not eat my croissant. And I'm going to leave my latte as well. What team were you on there? How did you feel that went?
listen, I think Jen, like confessional, was very cute and funny. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of team Gina here. I'm
Okay.
gonna say it. I just think she's saying what we're all thinking. Like, how are you paying for glam when you can't afford the house and you're whatever squatting? Like, yes, Jen might have like better one-liners, and Gina's been like riding hard for her casita life for a long time now. But I don't know. I mean, she could have been a bit more gentle, sure. I mean, that you could say that about a lot of housewives, but you know what? I'm here for it. I'm here for Gina, kind of saying what we're all thinking. Truly.
All right. And you don't think that with the background that Gina has, she might have been a little bit more understanding to everything going on in Jen's life? You just think she's going full throttle because
I
she's been
think
there?
tough love is sometimes you need to give it to someone, and
Was that
they're not like
love?
best. I think so. I listen. I want my good friends to shoot it to me straight, and they're not really like friends. And she also screwed her over in her business. If someone came for my business that way and like made me look bad and in the press, and you're affecting my wallet, yeah, I'm gonna give you what I would refer to as tough love. Like,
But I
Okay.
also feel like a tough lesson learned for Gina, when you blur the lines of friendship and business, you can't skip steps. Like, why wasn't there a financial like background check done to see, can she really, I mean, I don't know too many people that can afford $20,000 a month in rent anyway, but like, why wasn't there a background check done? Or like, usually they like ask for like a W-2, or, you know, didn't she have to put down first and last month and a security deposit? Like, if she couldn't come up with that, that might have been a little bit of a red flag. So I see Gina's point, because I think Gina's someone who's like, hey, I've been in that spot and I pulled myself out of it on my own, and I didn't blame it on like me not knowing how to be an adult in my mid 40s. But I also think like she might be also kind of kicking herself for not doing a little bit more due diligence.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of the more evenly matched arguments back and forth, because no matter where you go, you're not really wrong. You can agree with Gina, you can agree with Jen. We both understand where both of them are coming from. We both understand that both of them have messed up along the way. There's a lot of mistakes made with no credit check. Like, Gina, why are you putting your career on the line for somebody that you just met like a year or two ago, who you know already has money problems, but you're not going to do a credit check to see if she's paying for these things? So yeah, you don't really get to talk on it too much. But you also do have the experience, so you can talk about it. Like, we could talk in circles about this argument, and that's why I feel like it's very fascinating, because there really isn't a correct answer. It's just watching two women try to work their way through it, realizing that they're both wrong and they're also both right. Like, we understand that Jen, yeah, it's traumatic and she's not able to pay her bills and she's embarrassed by it. So yeah, she's not going to pick up the phone and call Gina and say, hey, I can't pay for anything, I'm poor, but you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get my makeup done, so like, don't say anything about that. Like, what do you want her to do in that situation? So it's really tough, and there really isn't the right answer. So that's why I actually really like this, because it's real and it's actually something that happened, and not something that one of the castmates fabricated, or one of the castmates just decided to make up inorganically and start talking about it in the middle of the show, because we hate that. But this seems real, and I like that.
It seems real, but to me, I don't know. There was something about the way that Gina went about it immediately. Is it's almost like she was like, finally, I got something that I can really go after here. Like, she was so excited about the idea that, one, she's no longer the broke one on the show, and two, it's like, ooh, I can make myself really relevant with this one. And instead of like easing into it, she just went full gas, like right out of the gate. To when they're having that conversation, do I understand being a little bit upset? And that's what pretty much this entire first scene is the aftermath of this conversation. She FaceTimes Emily. I'm also not sure what Emily's issue with Jen is yet, but I just feel like she could have had a little more tact, and maybe it would have landed better, because she could be right. But I also feel like her talking about it at length and saying, I didn't do a credit check, and now she's talking about a client's issues on TV. Is she not doing more damage to herself than Jen getting evicted did? With the, because that only affected the one relationship with whoever the owner of the house was. Whereas now she's saying out loud on TV, if you go do business with me, I might talk about your shit on TV. That's my take. I don't know, but we can keep trucking, and we get to the
I
flag
mean, I feel
football
like
game.
like
Go ahead.
Shooter said, we would go in circles. I think we
Yeah,
could
Totally.
definitely bring up like match point, like a tennis match along this. But I
Yeah.
think Steele, you bring up very good points as well. But we all know we need storylines on this show. And I
It's a good
think
storyline.
Gina, is pivoting. If I'm gonna go hard on Gina, I'm gonna go harder on her on what the hell is going on with Travis than
Yeah,
this
Yes.
Jen debacle. To
for
me, this is
sure.
like, here, look at this. I'm gonna like pivot you guys to this shit to avoid whatever's truly going on there.
Sleight of
It's funny
hand.
too, because I do think that, like, aside from myself, who I'm definitely right, Abby and Vanessa, you're definitely right. Steele, you are actually wrong. So there is somebody who can be wrong in this situation.
I didn't
How
even
about
take a
that?
side. I said, did she come in too hot? Is all I
Yeah,
said.
that's the wrong stance. That's the wrong stance. You have to
Not
have a
taking a
firm
side
opinion.
is wrong. Yeah.
Exactly. Correct.
I'm just kidding.
I
See?
think that it's a great storyline. I'm on board for the storyline. I think it's great TV. I think we're getting a lot out of both of them. And it's two people that we needed to get a lot out of. You know, Gina is not a favorite on this show. She does have to show that she can hang. So this is a good avenue for her to go. Jen, her whole thing last year was her versus Tamara. Can she do more? Can she bring more to the show? It's a good opportunity for everybody involved, and it's fun to watch. So Shooter, get the fuck off my back. I'm on board for this. We're cool.
But
Let's.
Steele, it's you know how housewives work. You have to pick a team.
I'm not picking team. I don't like the team thing.
You know
I
what's
think it's a
interesting?
team thing.
None of the, I mean, Emily's taking Gina's side. Shannon is kind of taking Jen's side, but also
Yeah.
like in confessionals, not fully. Like, no one is picking a side in this one, which I think is
Yeah.
very unhousewife like, which
Right.
probably even further proves like this is real and legitimate. This isn't something like someone's bringing up or claiming they have receipts to prove it. Like, I mean, Jen's not denying it either. Like, this is actually going on.
That's a good point. I think that that's something that's also really interesting is in every housewives confessional that we've gotten about this topic, they do say, I understand that Jen's going through it. That's a tough situation, but at the same time, yeah. So it's interesting. It's new territory. The people are riding the middle ground. So maybe I'm right and all of you are wrong. I like that better.
No.
We made our way there. We figured it out, guys.
No.
Nice job, everybody. High fives
Show's
all
over.
around.
Yeah.
No, we're going to keep moving. We're moving on to the next scene now, and that's flag football. And we made some predictions last week. I said that Shannon was going to be good. Shannon scored the first touchdown. That's all I'm going to say. So
She had 2 touchdowns.
she got a pity touchdown.
Alexis,
because
yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say Alexis grabbed the flag.
But I'm with Heather on that one. Like, she needs a win. Just let her have a touchdown.
She needed the W, especially if Alexis is the one that pulls her flag. It's like, of course. It's like, just let her have it. So I was glad that Heather gave her that one. But the team names are laughable to me. You got on one side the Destroyers, and they're like, what about Team Love? I'm like, boo.
That is literally this dumbest name. I'm sorry. You're playing football. It's competitive. It's like you're potentially going to try to tackle someone. Team Love. Like I would have been like, fuck off. Like, we're not doing Team Love.
Everybody love everybody. That's how we're going to do this.
Yeah,
well, what's rich is Tamara's on that team. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say she's full of love necessarily.
No.
Well, wait, I think the funny thing about picking the teams too, not even just the team names, they tried to pick teams so that people who had beef with each other weren't on the same team, because it's a team sport and you guys have to be near each other. Actually, pitting them against each other is worse. You should have them on the same team so that they can stand further away from each other.
I don't know, because maybe they could get some anger out.
Yeah.
The first play of the game ended in a tackle. They weren't even going for flags. Someone got laid out immediately. The next scene is Emily falling on the ground. So
I also love that they only played to 3. Like, once the other team got 3 points, it was like, it's over.
It wasn't even a touchdown. It's 1 point.
I was just like, how long did you guys actually play for? Like 30 minutes? Like, I don't know how long.
I was thinking
even
like
better
10
considering
minutes
they had
tops.
And they had practiced for this. Like, they took the time to practice, and it's like, all right, we played 10 minutes of football. Let's go grab some drinks. High fives all around. Nice job. But I do want to talk about, again, it's Gina-centric, but, Jen, Katie, and Tamara and Alexis are talking about Gina and, that she's having her reputation ruined. And this is where you get the scene from Tamara saying that she sees both sides. So I like that they are able to not just dive head first, because we've seen so many times, especially with Tamara, where she picks a side, and for all intents and purposes, what we've seen this season is she's anti-Shannon. I guess she's going up against Shannon this time. She's getting friendlier with Alexis. Do you guys think that her friendship with Alexis is any kind of genuine, or is this an opportunity and she's taking this season to go after Shannon?
She's going after Shannon. I mean, you could say, like, I don't agree with her choices. And I think because she, like, the decisions she's made, she's going down a dark path. But, like, if you really cared for someone, you wouldn't then say on national television, they also are secretly drinking and sneaking in booze at our live events. Like, I mean, I do feel like with Tamara, we've seen this. This is almost like her blueprint. And she loves to be like up and down, up and down, up and down with people. Next season, it's going to be her rebuilding her friendship with Shannon and then moving forward as best friends.
Oh, yeah.
I also, though, think in terms of Tamara, and given our recent interaction with Shannon, I'm like, get her, Tamara. Get her, Tammy Sue. I am not here for Miss Shannon Storms Bedore. I was, until she treated us like,
and others. It wasn't
shit.
just, yeah.
Like, she was very rude to us, I will say. We were recently at a watch party for Bravo, and it's Orange County. Shannon, Vicky, and Jen and Melissa Gorga were there. Melissa Gorga was lovely. Jen was lovely. Ryan was lovely. Everyone was very kind. But even at like a fan event, Shannon was very much like, how like in the South they say like bless your heart, and that's like their way of saying like fuck off. She was very
Texas.
much like,
yes, I do.
That was her like energy. Like,
she was so condescending. Yeah.
She just wasn't like here for it. She didn't do anything mean directly, but she just was very cold and like,
better than.
Yes, like that kind of vibe. And so that gave me
Okay.
the ick really bad because I was ready to be like, Shannon girl, I got you. Like, fuck Jesus jugs, whatever, like Johnny J and all this shit. And now I'm like, I think you expect a lot of people and you don't give a lot back.
Interesting. That paints a different light on it for sure.
Yeah.
Sheds a different light on it.
I don't know though, because some of our favorites are not very nice in person, and I feel like
As
I'm not
we've
going to hold it against them. Yeah, we've met a couple and we're like,
yeah.
oh, you are a terrible, terrible human being, but God, you are entertaining on TV.
Yeah.
Shannon, I think, kind of falls into that category for me right now.
But you know what though? Like weird same. Like listen, I don't expect everyone, like Abby and I will say, what you see is what you get. Abby had an encounter with Ramona. That was very Ramona Singer. Abby, I'll let you tell the story. But like I wasn't offended by that encounter at all. My thing was we were legitimately at a fan event and was just trying to say hello. And you were just being very dismissive.
Well, and she was rude to other people too. Cause like we were talking to others and they're like, no, she was really. And so then I was like, okay, like that wasn't just a weird one-off. But honestly, I think that's the first person we've had where I felt like they were truly, truly rude. Ramona Singer did cut in front of me in the line for the bar at BravoCon 2022 and then did not pay for her drink and just like walked away and assumed it was covered because she was talent. But to me, again, that was because I loved it because I'm like, that's so on brand.
So
like,
on
she,
brand.
like I loved it. I'm like, this is the most iconic moment of my BravoCon. So
yeah, that's a good
anyhow.
one.
I would never hold that against her at all.
No, not at all.
I would probably thank her, be like, thank you for being yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a run-in at one of our shows with an OG New York housewife that could have gave a shit about us. She had no time for us, but when she stepped on the stage, she was outstanding. So we didn't hold it against her. But yeah, we've had interactions like that as well. But I do want to talk about, because Shannon asks about Alexis's sex life in this conversation after football, and it comes up, she said that it's 4 times a day. I said after episode 1, it appears to me that Alexis is taking the Larsa Pippen playbook and is putting into practice all the things that Larsa does about her relationships. Like, oh, me and Marcus are having sex 17 times a day. We never miss a night. The same with Scotty. I had sex 100 times a night and we never missed a night for 20 something years. So I'm getting a lot of Larsa from her, and especially with this gym setup, like Alexis and John training at the same gym as Shannon. I feel like every single thing they're doing and the only storyline they're going to have this season is simply about her taking Shannon's boyfriend. And I truly don't think that Shannon is that wrapped up in it. I think that, yeah, it's irritating to her, but I don't think that it's landing nearly as hard as Alexis thinks it is. And I'd love to get your take on that.
I mean, I agree. I think like Alexis is coming in thinking like, I also get like, I hate when people without it really being asked, like give that information about their sex life. Like, great. Like, good for you. But also like, I agree with, I can't remember now who said in their confessional, but like no man in their 60s is having sex 4 times a day. Like, I mean, no one has time for that. And also as a woman, as a female, I don't think I really want to have sex 4 times a
late 30s, no one has time for that. I mean, if you are, good for you. But to me, it's giving the same energy of people who write long ass captions on like wedding anniversaries or like birthdays about their loved ones. It's like a lot of projecting, which to me just gives off like insecurity. Like if you're that solid and you're that good, no one needs to know all these details.
We've talked about that a couple times actually, and it had nothing to do with Bravo, Steele. You remember that?
Yeah. Absolutely. Sure do.
One of our big gripes.
Yeah. Anytime I see like all the couples that I know that are like solid and in great relationships, very minimal social media presence, like they'll post things with each other and it's like a short, cute caption, like me and my bestie, something small. And then every time I see like, this person saved my life, and without them, I don't know where I would be. I thank the Lord every single day for bringing her into my life, because without her, I would be a lost ship at sea. And then they respond with a comment like, my love bug, heart emoji.
Whoa.
Wait, is this Alexis and Johnny J?
Yeah. I thought you were talking about Dorit and PK. But
you can take your pick, especially in Bravo. But that's always a major red flag, whether they are a celebrity, a Bravo celebrity, or just a friend or somebody I know. Anytime I see that, I'm like, oh, shit's not going well. It's the same thing when you see a person start posting a lot of inspirational quotes in their stories, you're like, uh-oh, what happened? You're in a downtime?
Or
It's okay, you
went
can
through a
talk to me.
breakup.
if somebody dramatically gets bangs or goes from blonde to really dark
Oh,
brunette,
yeah.
like life is throwing them some lemons. So I don't love Shannon because of just her attitude and stuff. I do though feel like Alexis, is going way too hard. And I'm like, "Ugh, Shannon, she's made some bad decisions, but like, let her have her gym. You're already like touting your sex life in front of everyone. Like, why are you trying to steal like her gym and her trainer? And it sounds like the gym is like kind of like, yeah, she's worked out here a few times, but we're not like claiming her as our like number one client yet either.
Yeah,
No,
it's really funny too because it looks like Alexis is just trying to take over Shannon's life entirely. When you go to the next scene where she's walking a dog that looks exactly like Archie, it's like what the fuck is going on? Like, and I want to know too because I'm really battling with myself on this one. Do you think that Johnny J is influencing her life, Alexis's life, to be exactly like Shannon? Hey, we're gonna go to this gym, we're gonna go to this trainer, you're gonna get this dog. You want a shelter dog? We're going to go find the best shelter dog, and it looks exactly like Shannon's dog. Do you think he's just molding her into the new Shannon so that he can continue to live his life and post pictures? Or do you think Alexis is that jealous of Shannon that she is just following everything that she's ever done?
That's a really good question. My initial reaction is that Alexis isn't, she's too love bombed to
Yeah.
connect the dots and to lead that charge. So I think it's Johnny J doing that. And she's seeing them as romantic gestures, as this person cares about me and not putting like seeing 2 and 2 and being like, wait a second, Shannon had a golden retriever.
Yep.
Shannon works out at this gym. Like, I don't think it's not adding up for her. Abby, do you agree or disagree?
Well, so I think Johnny J is like honestly like diabolical. Like you've heard little glimpses from the other women of like things he would say about Shannon. So I think he's trying to like mentally fuck with her by being like, I'm going to get the younger, skinnier, prettier version of you. And I'm going to live our life, the life you could have had, but now you don't. And I feel like I don't know if he's quite molding her to be just like Shannon or if he thinks like, this will drive Shannon crazy. And so I'm going to just continue to encourage these things.
I think it's both. I think that he is definitely diabolical. We made, or I cut our episode and made a little TikTok reel out of it 2 weeks ago, and we went off on John Janssen, and it went like it was going crazy on TikTok, and then it got pulled for community guideline violation for bullying and harassment. But we've posted way, way worse things of us talking about other people on there. The only other time it's happened was also with an insecure person, JT from Southern Charm, and it got pulled. So I want to say like 90% sure that they had something to do with it, especially because I appealed it. It got approved, reposted, and then got taken down again. I was like, God, you guys if you're going to play this game, you at least have to have thicker skin because we told him a new asshole. It's like, dude, who are you? That's my biggest question is I don't know who this guy thinks he is. I don't know who Alexis thinks he is, parading him around like he's some prize. You would think that she's dating George fucking Clooney. And it's like, this guy is a dud. He does nothing. He has a weird relationship with his own family. He's had a bizarre relationship with Shannon for an extended period of time. Congratulations, Alexis. You just walked into a goddamn nightmare and you're out here bragging about it. And it's crazier to me because, yes, I do believe that John is trying to be vindictive in saying, I'm taking her to the same hotel that I took you to. I'm taking her to the same restaurants I took you to. I'm taking pictures on the boat that we used to go out on. They're doing every single thing that he used to do with Alexis. And I think that one, he has a playbook. People like him always have a playbook. Two, he wants to rub it in Shannon's face. But at the same time, Alexis does too. I think that she is taking the opportunity to kind of follow his lead. I do think she's being blinded a little bit. I don't think she sees everything that's happening, and she's definitely not connecting the dots. But I don't think that she is completely oblivious. I think she understands what their game is. I would venture to say that they had a conversation before this started when they were sitting in that fucking booth that story's changed already from what we heard originally to how it actually happened.
It was inevitable. It was going to happen anyway. The universe was pushing us together. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like, no, it wasn't. You guys
to a
probably
reservation
saw each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
The quiet
I want to be on
woman.
TV. Right. The quiet late is it Quiet Woman? Is that what
The
it's called?
Quiet Woman, yeah, that's what it's
Okay,
called. They
yeah.
also was like a social media war between Alexis and Shannon and the Quiet Woman, where
Love
they
that.
like gave Alexis a shout out, and then Shannon got her shout out, and they're like, it was just like very
That's perfect.
entertaining, but good for them, I suppose.
That's great PR for the
Yeah,
Quiet
for
Woman.
real.
That was smart. But it's just, they sat in that booth and Alexis is like, I want to be relevant again. And John was like, I don't want to lose relevancy. Let's come up with a master plan here and we're going to take down Shannon on TV. And it's not going well. People are siding with Shannon, especially those that don't have personal experience with her, apparently. So, like, Shooter and I are like, Team Shannon. Yeah. You guys, different story, understandably
No,
so.
I'm being salty. I'm definitely being salty. I think on paper, I'm definitely leaning more towards Shannon. I always like rooting for the underdog in these situations. I don't feel like Alexis has a lot, like a huge leg to stand on. I do think everything she's gone after Shannon for has fallen short. That said, like as the season progresses, maybe I'll feel another certain way there, but I get it.
That's fair. That's fair. But let's talk about we get somewhat of a resolve, I guess you could say, between Jenn and Gina. They sit down after football and it's tense for a little while and they both kind of air out their grievances. Gina's still more so than Jenn. And I think in this instance, I can understand the frustration of Gina because Jenn seemingly doesn't get it. She doesn't get the gravity of the situation where it's like, I'm just trying to figure out life. I'm just trying to work my way through it. It's like, yeah, okay, fine. And you could admit that as a 40-year-old, you still don't know how to be an adult. At least you're being honest about that. But at the same time, because you are unaware of what it takes to be an adult and stand on your own 2 feet, you're also not understanding that Gina's taking this personally because she's been where you are. She worked her way out of it. She's now standing on her own 2 feet. She now has a surplus in income for the first time in her life and is proud of it. And here comes this woman that could potentially take that away from her. So I did in this moment get why she was as frustrated as she was. But do we have sympathy for Jenn after this, where she's like, I don't know what I'm doing out here? And it's like, yeah, okay, that's sad, but you're also 40 with 5 children, and your backup plan is fucking Ryan, who is a garbage pail kid. Like, is that the best thing to put all of your eggs in? Is this guy? Like, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that there is sympathy to be had, or is it like, girl, you got to figure this shit out?
Think you can only be victim so many times. Like, okay, so you never had a credit card in your name and all these things. You didn't have to worry about being an adult and that was a privilege or whatever. But like, I think where I'm having a hard time with is she even said it. If Ryan leaves me, I'm homeless and I don't have a car. It's like, why are you setting yourself up for this again? And to quote, Vicky Gunvalson, for women, if you don't have financial freedom, you don't have freedom, and I think this is just going back to it. It's like, do something for yourself. And I've said this a few times on our podcast. You don't need a yoga studio. Like, you're losing money there. You live in Orange County, be a private yoga instructor, go to people's homes. They're going to pay you for that. And you're not going to have the cost of the actual studio. I just think she's making so many terrible decisions and like repeating the same pattern. She's going to become dependent on Ryan, who may or may not be going to jail. Like, what's going to happen to you with all of this? Like, I don't know. It's kind of wild.
I co-sign everything Abby said. I do think there's something to, we see this a lot on Housewives where people who either have skeletons in their closets come on TV because they don't think anyone's going to find out, or people who are in financial desperation and just like everyone wants to be famous at the end of the day. And I think in some ways, even though they're not saying it and they're not breaking the fourth wall, she's thinking like, oh, I'm on the show, I'm making this money. Like, she's thinking the show is going to be her job, when in reality, as we know, Andy has said many, many times, don't ever quit your day job. Don't rely on this because it can end tomorrow. And I think Jenn is Delulu, to be quite, she's clearly Delulu.
Yeah, I mean, she's just falling back into everything that she did with her ex, and the way that she explains it, she talks about it with her parents last week. She has no idea what she's doing, and she's going to get burned again because, as we know, Ryan is involved in the huge gambling scandal that happened with Shohei Ohtani, which is still hilarious, and I cannot wait to get to that part of the season, which is definitely going to happen at the end. But she's just putting all of her eggs in one basket once again because it's what she knows and it's what she's always done. She doesn't have people close to her who are telling her, hey, this is a stupid move, figure it out. And now she actually does. And she's like, hey, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. Can somebody please tell me what to do? It's like, no, you have to do it on your own. You can't have people tell you what to do. That's how you get in this position in the first place. So at least she's being honest about it. I don't know. It doesn't affect me personally. So what the hell do
It's
I
a
care?
good thing Jen Shaw's in prison. Otherwise, I think Jen would be her number one target. She'd be like, yeah, let me help you. Let me do this. Let me help you with marketing your yoga studio. And she would just be out. Yeah.
Let me be your personal assistant. I won't take any personal information from you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, what's your social? I just need it. Don't worry about it. Just give me your social.
And your mom's maiden name, just in case it comes up and someone's asking. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be thorough. I care about you and all the old people. But in this moment, while they're going back and forth, once everything kind of settles down, Gina does let it out. Like, I'm going through a lot. And I think that this is the root of the emotion that was involved in this conversation initially. I think that, as you said in the beginning, this is kind of a sleight of hand. Like, look over here so you don't notice that this bizarre situation is happening at my home with my long-term boyfriend and our 6 kids, 3 and 3. So Tamara, I don't like agreeing with Tamara, but I have to agree with Tamara here because she just says it's weird. Like, this is weird. You don't move in with somebody, have your kids develop a relationship together. And I'm not going to speak on that too much. We don't like to bring up the kids. We keep the kids out of it. But you set up this whole home life scenario and then you are moving out, but you're staying together. Does anybody in this chat believe that this is going to work out for them? Yeah, I didn't know what to say. Podcast.
Did you just streamer us?
I feel like, have you been watching Love Island? I was like, can you pull us for a chat?
My wife has. She loves it. We haven't gotten into it yet. I've seen clips.
I see.
So if I'm not mistaken, I believe the streets are saying that the ex-wife, their divorce hasn't been settled, I don't believe. And I don't think she wants them around Gina because of her D-dub. So I think that's the real reason, I think. I think that's what the streets are saying. Like, again, fact check me, anyone, come, whatever.
Because she got a DWI in her past?
But I think that's what the ex-wife, they haven't settled their divorce yet. So I think they're going back and forth. And I think that's what's happening. And I also think Gina, my vibe, if that's happening as well, she doesn't want her kids to be grouped into that, is my guess. Like, just kind of like...
Is this a new requirement for Bravo shows that one couple in here has to have a spouse or a partner that doesn't have a settled divorce? Like, are we just going to do this in every show now? We have to have questions about a past relationship, and did the divorce go through?
I know. I mean, it's messy. Again, don't quote me verbatim, but from, what I've read online and from what I've seen people are talking, I think that's like the real story of what's going on. So, and part of me is like, then why not say it or say what you could say about it versus like the whole money thing? Because that doesn't make sense either.
It really makes no sense.
Don't quote you on it, right? So I shouldn't post this quote that I just typed out. And
allegedly. Yeah. We'll throw in allegedly.
I'm going to cut this clip out. I'm going to cut out the allegedly part. So,
just cut out the don't. Just say, quote me on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quote this. But in this moment, in this scene, Emily gives Jen the award for like the participation trophy. Pretty much, it's like, oh, you're trying. Like, I don't understand what her issue with Jen is to the point where she's like, oh, you tried to get a house, you tried to get a car, you tried playing the game. Like, good for you. What's her problem? Why is she so invested in this, and why is she coming after Jen?
Is
there something I don't know?
And she's in Gina's corner. And no, I love Emily. So this, I had a hard time with it too. Because I'm like, well, why? Like, Gina can fight her own fight. We saw her do it in the coffee shop. She did a pretty good job. I don't know. I wonder if like Emily maybe is like, oh, I'd kind of like to be part of this storyline, or, is just trying to like insert herself in it a little bit. But yeah, I don't think Jen's not done anything to Emily.
Projecting
it's confusing.
her own relationship issues, perhaps?
With Emily and Shane?
Yeah. She could be
Oh,
They have a
projecting.
weird
Maybe
relationship.
everybody's just going through weird
They have a
shit and
weird
they're
relationship,
projecting.
but honestly, I think they're like rock solid. Like if I had a bet on who's divorcing, they're the last ones I'm picking.
Oh, yeah.
Out
I
of
think
OC.
so. Well, I could see Heather and Terry.
I don't know.
I
Terry's
don't know.
probably diddled a few nurses.
Oh.
Are we going to quote you for that one too? We've got some
Sure.
crazy quotes tonight.
Mom's gone wild.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
real
I think
moms
he
of
maybe.
Bravo gone wild.
Yeah.
Allegedly. We'll throw
Wait,
an
does-
allegedly on there.
I feel like diddled counts towards the swear jar. I think you need to
Yeah.
add
All right.
that
Fine.
one.
All right. I'll put
Yeah.
in $1.
I
Yeah.
feel like you're gonna
Okay,
bring that
cool.
back. I don't think I've heard someone say diddled.
Yeah,
I just
No.
like saying because it like
Great
just implies like you don't really know what happened, but something went on and it was like slightly inappropriate.
Quick diddle.
Just a tip.
A
Little diddle. Yeah.
just a tip. Just a tip for a quick diddle. Yeah. This is taking a turn quickly. But
Oh boy.
we're moving on to a lingerie scene. So it's kind of fitting. But I actually really appreciate how open Emily is with her journey with fitness, from where she's come from, losing 40 plus pounds, and also the other side of things where it's like, yeah, I feel great, I look great, but at the same time, and I do personal training, and a lot of the cooking I do is health centric. So it's something that I deal with a lot. Is the other side of it is being overtraining, doing too much, getting a weird addiction to this fitness lifestyle that is actually just as detrimental as the other side of the spectrum. So I actually really am enjoying the fact that she is talking about that, and just because she looks great doesn't mean that the journey's over, and she's trying to find that middle ground here. She looks great, and I'm proud of all the work that she's done, but at the same time, I think it's really important. We like to point out the real moments in these shows where it's like, here's something that people can resonate with. It's like, yes, you can drop 40 pounds, look great, but you still have work to do. And the fact that she is able to convey that and be honest about that, I think is just really cool. Just wanted to shout that out.
I think she's done a really good job as a housewife. I think like being real and sharing parts of like her life with that. Like, she isn't a size 0. And I agree. I really commend it. And I think it's really important for like women, especially, to see that, because I think it's something like everyone can relate to. And then, I like to Shane adding in, like, she's going a little bit too hard the other way, and she just needs to find a healthy balance. But Shane could work on some stuff himself. I know.
Shane shouldn't be the one talking about it if he's drinking a big gulp and he's like, nah, she needs to get a handle on X, Y, and Z.
It's a Diet Coke, though. It's not a full Coke, all right?
Okay.
Lisa Barlow drinks Diet Coke all the
I'm
time.
a full Coke girly, but that's like, I feel like a whole nother show. But anyways,
I am for like little hangover cure. Always go to a full Coke.
that's like my vice. I have like mini
Yeah.
Cokes. Those are
There
like
you
my
go.
vice. Anyways,
Steele's
there's
like
nothing wrong
freaking
with
out.
that.
Oh.
No. See, I'm very much the kind of person that's like, you need to enjoy it. We do what we do in the gym, and you take care of yourself like 80% of the time so that you can enjoy the other 20%. If you're constantly dieting and constantly miserable, then like, what's the point of being in good shape? It's like, yeah, got a 6-pack, but I can't eat a cheeseburger or else I'm going to get bloated and I'm going to hate myself. It's like, that's not healthy. And who the fuck doesn't want to eat cheeseburgers and drink a Coke every now and then? So no, I'm all for it. It's finding that balance. And that's why I really appreciated the Emily stuff, is trying to find that balance. Do I think that Shane of all people needs to be commenting on it? No, I don't. I think until Shane does something active, like at the very least take a walk, then he can talk about it. But until then, shut up, Shane.
I do think though, okay, hear me out, because I have a similar dynamic in my relationship. So my husband's a lot more health conscious than I am. I'm not the extreme of Shane. I'm not drinking like a big gulp. I do exercise. I do try to look at what I eat, but I'm not like as strict about it as my husband is. I do think sometimes when you're on that side, when someone is like trying to lay something on you, like force it on you, it makes it less appealing. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It just makes it like, okay. I get it.
He has to want to take a walk. Like, you can't drag him. Yeah.
No, absolutely. But I also think I don't know, just set up a session with him, like a personal training. I think there's ways that she could go about it, but I understand being turned off by someone trying to like push something on you when you aren't ready to make that step yourself.
Well, I think she finally decided, and she's been obsessed with working out and doing all things fitness for the last, 6 to 8 months, 10 months. So she's probably still figuring out how to do it for herself. Dragging another person into it is not a good move if you don't even know what you're doing yet. So I think she's trying to find that balance. I just love when she's sitting down in her confessional talking, or actually when she was talking to Shane himself. I feel like I'm on the full on fitness end and you're on the other end of the spectrum. Yeah. Just
We
leave
need
it at
to
that.
come together
Yeah. We need to find
and
somewhere
figure
in
this
the
out.
middle. Yeah. It's like, okay, so
My
you're
own
super unhealthy. I'm very healthy.
my only counterpoint is, yes, I agree, and I totally can understand, like, if one person in a relationship is trying to push it on you, then yeah, you're gonna be like, all right, dude, like, settle down. I get it. You're healthy. Yay, fuck off. But at the same time, if if Emily walks in and sees her husband doubled over grabbing his chest because his heart hurts,
Yeah.
Forgot
I'm
about
gonna
that part.
press it a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna be like,
Yeah,
all right,
Yeah.
dude,
I forgot
stop
that
with the big
detail.
gulps.
Or go to the
That is the
doctor.
caveat.
Go to the doctor. I totally forgot about
Something.
that
Yeah.
detail.
Like,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
If that
We've
wasn't
come
the
full
case, then
circle
I
now.
agree with you. It's
We've
like,
come
all
full
right, you might,
circle. Steele mentioned a very important detail:
Yeah.
potential
yeah,
heart attack. So yeah,
potential
we've come full
cardiac
circle.
arrest.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've come full circle for sure.
But let's keep moving. We get Tamara, Alexis, and Jen, and this is the Archie lookalike, and they're also discussing Jen. This is where the yoga studio comes into play. And yes, this makes no sense to me. If you're going to own a studio, you're not paying yourselves because you're trying to get it off the ground. You're trying to be successful. I don't really understand what our social media is insane means. Is that positive? Is that
I think
negative? Do they
negative. I think I would assume negative based on connotation. Yeah.
What does that mean? What do you
Based on
mean
the
your
way that
social
she
media is
said it.
insane?
I
No, I
like it's
understand.
insanely bad.
I
It's
think she
Wow.
wouldn't say it's insane if it's bad.
I
That's
took
what
it as
it's
bad.
very confusing. I took it negative as well, but that's
Yeah.
confusing. Is it insane because you're not posting anything? Is it insane because the person posting is posting insane things?
Could
Is
be.
it going I'm
I wrote
confused
I
at
wrote
the
it up
direction
as
of the studio.
the her partner who said that is not used to being on camera and got a little stage fright and didn't really know what to say. Just had a little word vomit. It's insane,
Oh,
right?
okay. Just chalk it up to that.
Just chalk it up to that.
That's
Yeah.
I'm trying to find their social media now and
what was it
see if
called?
I don't know what it's called. So
Uh,
I'll let y'all know. I'll
we'll
give you
circle
You
an
can
back.
update.
Yeah.
report back. Yeah, we'll,
Yeah.
we'll circle back to that one. But Al, this is where we learn about Alexis and her gym routine, because the way that she's talking and discussing it is once again like, yeah, my gym, my trainer, my life, all of these things. I guess Alex, who is a part owner of the gym, called Shannon and brought up Alexis and was like, yeah, she's in here saying that she's a Christian, but talking about the fact that she's banging John Janssen 4 times a night. So, do you think that Shannon was venting to her trainer? Do you think Shannon called Alex? Or do you think that Alexis offered this information freely, or all of the above?
I'm in the ballpark of Shannon absolutely was venting to her trainer. But just because Shannon's the one after we had that luncheon, Alexis said, "Yeah, we had sex 2 times today. Maybe we'll have 2 or 3 later." That's not 4 times, that's 5, maybe 5, whatever. When Shannon talks about it, she always says 4 times. So the fact that now Alex is saying 4 times means that she definitely vented to him, which I'm fine. I'm here for whatever. You want to vent. Steele knows this. He's a personal trainer. People rely on them as therapists all the time. So if Shannon's talking about that, sure, why not? Go off on it. So if Alex has a problem with it, that's his own problem, I feel like.
I'm with you, Shooter. I have a personal trainer myself. I just went today. And just playing
Nice.
this situation out in my head. And not that we're at a venting, like sharing thing point in
Yeah.
our relationship, but it seems more organic to just as you're like in between reps, shooting the shit of what's going on. If he's like, oh, what's the latest on John? And like, then she's saying that, like, that feels very natural. So I'm with you on that one. Abby, are you in agreement with us, or do you think something different?
I think a little bit of everything. I wouldn't be shocked if Alexis wasn't saying, like, I could see her walking in and be like, well, I don't know how much of a workout I need because Johnny J gave me one last night, you know, like, because she's openly
Really
like,
good point.
so
Johnny
like,
J
I think,
diddled me last night. I'm all
yeah,
diddled out.
I've been diddled so hard lately. So I think she's probably freely said that. And then, yeah, I think Shannon, though, initiated that. I don't think her personal trainer's calling her and like, okay, Alexis was just in today, and this is exactly what she said. Because also, like, for that personal trainer, no one's going to want to work out with you. Like, I think personal trainers and hairstylists, like, hold all secrets for people because it really influences, like, your life. Like, if you're not in the mood to work out, or like you're struggling with something in your life, you're going to talk about it with like your personal trainer more, because it's going to impact your, like, the way you're feeling mentally and physically. And same with, I don't know why with hair, maybe just because we sit there for so long, but I mean, hairstylists and personal trainers know all secrets.
I don't know, because barbers, dudes' hair doesn't take nearly as long, and barbers still get all the tea too. So there's something about, maybe it's, standing with your back to somebody with shears where you just trust them more. So you're like, I'm just gonna vent to you. And I think with personal trainers, as you start to exercise, the walls start to come down. Like you're getting tired, you're like, whatever, and things just come out, and you're like, oh shit, this is our second session, and you're talking about how your marriage is rocky. I'm sorry, what's going on? Yeah, let's get into this. This is not a specific thing. I'm just saying in general that could be a topic that would come up.
Yes, theoretically, yeah.
Hypothetically speaking, that could be a scenario. But I agree with everyone's sentiment. I think that, yeah, obviously Shannon was talking about it. Shoot, it's a great point. Like the specifics kind of out Shannon there. It's like, oh, four times. And then I also definitely see Alexis walking into a place where she knows that Shannon trains there and being like, oh, did you hear about me and John Janssen last night? 4 times. 4 times, guys. So I could definitely see all of these
that
things.
She's putting, it's like not really hitting. Like she thinks she's really getting people, and it's like, cool, girl.
Well, and all it does for me, I'm like, man, he is taking a lot of Viagra. Like, there's no way.
That can't be good for him.
Yeah, like check on his heart. We're worried about Shane.
Yeah.
Check on John Janssen.
1 Viagra away from cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. We pointed it out during the whole Larsa thing when she was talking about her with Marcus Jordan. It's really funny because when you bring it up, it's not a flex. Everybody's just sitting there trying to figure out the logistics. How the hell do you have that much time? I'm not worried about, like, sick brag. That's awesome. But now I'm worried about myself thinking, do you have more hours in the day than I do? Like, there's just no way that you have that.
I'm thinking about fatigue. I'm thinking about pulling muscles. I'm thinking about, like, it just doesn't seem feasible.
I'm
like,
thinking about the vaginal area and lubricants and things. That's what I'm thinking. There's a lot there where I'm like, girl, really?
There's a lot of details that they're not addressing. And I think that for the next person, man or woman, on one of these shows that claims one of these things, they should have to break down how it goes. Like, I need like as Shooter said, we need the logistical breakdown. Okay, fine. You do. Tell us how. When? The duration? Do you enjoy it? Are you tired? Like, it sounds awful.
Why are you doing it so much?
How about that?
Is it so bad that you have to do it?
That they need to keep trying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have nothing to talk about?
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, but still, but like, I just don't think he's like not a sexual beast. Like, he doesn't give off that energy, and I mean, neither does she really. I mean, yeah, she's got big old bitties, but I don't know.
Well, he's got a big old dick. That's his only claim to fame, is that John Janssen has a big wiener. And again, I don't think that anybody's like, oh man, you get to have sex with John.
Equals like, I don't think it's like
sexual energy. I agree.
No, but I don't think a big dick automatically thinks like, oh, I got more juice.
That's a lot of blood. That's a lot of blood that has to get down there.
I'm even more worried about Alexis knowing it's like a big dick, honestly.
That's a valid point as well. I'm glad we're covering the tough topics today. This is what I figured we would get into with the Real Moms of Bravo.
You like how you started it? He's like, oh,
I don't want to cuss. And you guys are like, man, John's big dick. I can't imagine. We come full circle. This is good. Yeah. This is how, this is how real friendships are formed, everybody. So I feel like we've all connected today, and that's the goal at the end of the day. But yeah, we bonded over Johnny Jan's big penis. But let's move on to we get a little cameo from Sutton, who is a friend of the show. I actually texted her during this episode, like, oh, a little shout out. And they're talking about Katie and her interaction with Heather. Now, from what I've gathered, from what I've seen thus far on this season and how they've talked, I believe that Katie was brought on the show for the only purpose of going toe to toe with Heather. That's the only thing I can see from this, because she had a weird interaction at Sutton's Christmas party or whatever, where Heather kind of cold shouldered her a little bit. But when she was brought into the group, Heather seemed nice enough, but she's still like, meh, I don't know about Heather. I'm not really sure. I'm not sold on it.
It
So
probably is
what
just
what what do you
yeah.
think with the Katie of it all?
Well, I always think it's dangerous as a newcomer if you're coming in and your sole storyline and purpose is to go after another housewife. It never works. Make yourself interesting on your own. Also, like kind of what we were talking about, like these women, like we've seen their personalities on TV. We know who they are. It does not shock me at all that Miss Fancy Pants cold shouldered you at a Christmas party because she didn't know who you like. She didn't know who you were socially. She didn't really care. And then all of a sudden now you're in the group and she's like, okay, well, I'll be nice and inviting and warm and lovely because I act like I'm the hostess with the mostest. And like, that's just me. Like, I think Heather is a little bit of a snob and a little bit two-faced. So I was just like, okay, yeah, this tracks. Like, for Katie, I'm like, I don't think this, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, like a new fresh perspective on Heather Dubrow. So I feel like she needs to do a little bit more on her own.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It never works. It never hits as well as they always think it does. They think they have to make a name for themselves. It's almost like when you go to prison, you better find the biggest dude there and knock him the fuck out. Otherwise, you're going to be lost and
Yeah.
you're not going to know what to do. It's like, no, that's not how it works on these shows. You need to figure out the game, especially if you haven't been on a show before. Like, yeah, I get it if for whatever reason you switch cities or you were on a different Bravo program or a different reality TV program. Yeah, maybe you have some semblance of understanding the game, but Katie doesn't know what the hell she's doing. And Sutton is actively telling her, yeah, maybe don't go after somebody like Heather because you're going to get knocked down. It's not going to work out. So her coming in and immediately starting beef with Heather, of all people, who we watched last season go through it where people were attacking her for nothing. Like, she wasn't doing really anything. Like, yeah, she had a weird reaction to wanting to like film a movie or something, but she, whatever, she made up for it and then she went through it. So Katie coming after her makes zero sense. That's not how you're going to make a name for yourself. You just need to hang out. Just go to the parties, have a funny one-liner here and there, and then, maybe we'll like you next year. You gotta ease into this.
Take the Fessler approach. That's what Fessler did her first season. She was just like the comedic relief. She kind of hung in the background. She got involved a little bit. She's not having as good of a second season.
Yeah.
She's a little clumsy this year, but last year she was great and she did not try to dive headfirst into everything. Whereas Katie's like, oh, I'm going after Heather, and I don't know. But if Sutton tells me I wouldn't, I would probably be like, oh fuck, all right, because Sutton
Yeah.
isn't usually like afraid to go up against people, usually unintentionally. She kind of just sticks her foot in her mouth. But if she's giving you like, I wouldn't, and Katie's like, I got this, I don't think it's going to end very well. And I also don't know if Katie understands that people might even hate a certain housewife, but if they are an OG or have been on the show for an extended period of time and you're new to the show, they're not going to take your side just because you're
Yeah.
going after the OG. They're going to be like, oh, you don't fuck with our people. Like, if you go after Heather, like, we're going to take you down because she's been here. Who are you? So I think it's a very dangerous game.
But you
I'm
know
actually
what?
very curious.
Here's a hot take, though. I'm here for it because it's like rich, petty women drama, which is why we
Fair.
all love Housewives. So
Yeah.
you snubbed me at an event. You like, I have this
Mhm.
versus you. Like, this is the stuff I kind of enjoy, seeing rich people fight over petty shit. Like, I'm kind of here for it in that sense. I think you guys bring up a lot of valid points of like coming in too hot, to be even having to bring in Sutton to film with you. That's a little bit of like her trying to give a little Hail Mary for herself to make herself a little bit more relevant, in my opinion. But I do love rich women fighting. So I'm okay with it.
I also love a crossover.
like
I
that.
love when we see, especially when it makes sense. Like, I
Yeah.
do love when I see housewives from other cities filming with different housewives.
Yeah.
And
I
I
got
like
excited when I
Sutton.
saw Sutton stroll
Yeah.
on. I was like, hey, I told you, I texted her. I was like, crossover. Woo. It is. There's something about it where like when your worlds collide or their
Yes.
worlds collide, It's like
And I
there's
think
something.
Bravo should do more. I mean, they've been doing more of it in other spaces, but I'm all for more crossovers all around.
As long
Definitely.
as it's organic, like let's not like force it,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden it's like Jill Zarin in Beverly Hills, surprise! Like then you're like, all right, like
That would suck.
this is not what we asked for. Yeah,
With a Scary Island
Nobody wants
T-shirt on.
this.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Nobody
would.
wants this.
If look, I don't know if I know anything about Bravo, it's when they find something that seems to work, they just keep throwing it at you
Yep.
like nonstop. So we might end up getting a really shitty crossover. Where it's like, why the hell is this happening? I wouldn't put that past anything. But that takes us to, because we already discussed the Emily and Shane stuff. Let's talk about the Gina and Travis scene, because I have a million questions about this, but I just want knee-jerk reactions from everybody. What the hell's going on? Is this Gina just simply moving on with her life and Travis is holding her back? Is this because of the Dewey and not wanting the ex-wife to bring up the DUI charge? Is this because of the kids? Is this just simply she doesn't like Travis anymore? I need people's takes. I need to see where you guys stand.
I don't know. I thought it was sad as hell. I'll tell you what. That was a sad, sad scene. But I felt bad. It seems like Gina had this decision already made up and Travis is going through it and he can't really control his ex-wife. We don't know the ins and outs of that. Let's speculate up a storm because we've got 4 of us here. We can come up with some crazy theories. But it was still tough to watch. I mean, Travis is sitting there trying to pack and she's like, maybe I made a mistake. Like a little too late. He's literally packing. He already has a new apartment. He's trying to get internet set up. Come on, let the guy get internet set up, for the love of God. He's got to get his shows on there. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like this is knee jerk for Gina to, get her kids in a better environment, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Everything that she said without the context is really tough for us to decide on, because Travis looks super sad trying to get out. It's like she's kicking him out of there because of the things that he can't control. But she just seems like she's fed up. Instead of trying to like help him out and fight with it, it seems like maybe she's kind of giving up on this whole thing.
And when he said goodbye to the dog, I was like, oh my god,
Oh
like
yeah,
this
that was
feels
tough.
very,
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, it's like I also like, I feel like there's something more to it that she's not saying, because to your point,
Yeah.
like she was talking about like, well, if I'm doing this for the kids, and I get like, it probably is hard to find a house for 6 kids, but they've been living in a 3-bedroom house, like a
Mhm.
4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, like, some of the kids of the same gender could share a room and still have some space. You don't need the triple bunk anymore. Like, I don't know. I think it'd be really emotional for these kids that have been living together for several years. All of a sudden now they're not with one another. They've
Yep.
formed, unless it's worked out where the kids are never there at the same time, which it doesn't sound like that's the case. This is going to be emotional for them. They've also grown to really enjoy Travis and like spend time with him. And now he's gone too. It's like, it's not tracking to me that like I'm doing this for the kids. I think there's more to it. I like have to wonder, like, this divorce has gone on so long. And typically, like, I don't know how California law works, but typically at some point the courts are going to be like, we're going to mediation and it's done. We're going to tell you how this is going. Like, it doesn't go back and forth forever. So is there like some money situation where like she has a bunch of money and he's trying to get it? Or does he have something hidden? Like, there's like, why hasn't this been finalized yet? Like, I don't know. I just think there's more to it. And I don't know. I feel like she's not sharing all of it.
Yeah.
Well, in my brief Google search, because I've been doing this as you guys have been chatting, Travis was granted a restraining order against Megan,
Ooh.
claiming she had harassed and threatened him. Let's see. Oh my goodness, this is just recently. So it says he settles restraining order case against ex-wife Megan after years-long court battle. Details revealed. It is also agreed that for the next full year, Megan must submit to a drug test within 6 hours of request by Travis.
Ooh,
and if she
wow.
fails, her physical custody with the minor children shall be immediately suspended, and she shall reimburse Travis for the cost of said screening. Let's see what else is in there. So it's dark.
Ooh, well, now I'm wondering, is Gina doing it to truly
To
just protect her
protect,
kids
I think
from
she's
this
doing it to
psycho
protect her
woman?
kids.
But then, like, I don't know. Then it's also like, don't you love his kids too? Like, I mean, I get it. You have to protect your own. But then I'd be like, we're just gonna let his kids be around this crazy woman.
Yeah.
It's a
And-
tough scenario, but that's also where I actually respect that Gina's like, yeah, I love Travis. Yeah, I love Travis's kids. We are not married. I've got to
Yeah.
look out for me and mine. This is a really difficult decision, but I'm doing this for my family, and hopefully we're able to work this out in separate homes for the time being. But I'm not subjecting me and mine to this bullshit because your ex is nuts and won't stop.
Well,
So I
and her
actually
kids,
think that
they've
ahead.
already lived through, they've worked past it. And I think it's really great, but they
Right.
also lived through their mom being, physically abused by the dad in that one situation. So, and I do give her a lot of credit. Now I'm like, you should have told us, like, what's going on? She's holding something back. But if that's what she's holding back, I get it. Cause like, you're not gonna that's something she shouldn't be talking about on camera.
Right.
So I respect Gina.
Wow, we've come a long way this episode.
Good
I'm
search.
right.
That
Wow.
was a great Google search. Great timing. Did you ever find that?
Yeah.
Did you ever find the yoga studio?
Well,
yeah.
it was insane in a bad way. It was insane in a bad way.
That's
How many followers did they have?
Confirmation. It was like 1,500. And like one post got like 4 likes. So yes, it was insane.
So they're buying followers.
It was
too,
insane in a bad way. Yes. Confirmation.
But I still don't understand what that means.
You're too
Insane
stuck on the
because it's
vernacular.
not performing? Yeah, because what's insane about a 1,500 follower profile? Like, yeah, we're a small business and we have a decent following for a small business.
I took it as her telling Jen that it was insane, so maybe Jen could post it more on her profile. Like, hey, maybe you can take this over because you're a housewife and you have a little bit more notoriety.
Yeah,
Maybe
like this
she
is
was trying to do
insane. We
that.
only have 1,500 followers, and you have like I don't
You
know
have
how
all
many,
that.
600,000.
100,000, yeah.
Okay,
I
we'll do a
took
full
it-
circle on that.
Yeah, that's good. I thought that it was going to lead to her making up a position where it's like, well, I just took over social media for the yoga studio, so I'm actually getting paid.
I'm getting paid now.
$100.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when she first came on though? She talked about like their like TikToks they did during the pandemic.
yeah.
Like Jen was
Yeah.
talking about that with her business partner. So I wonder if it's time back to that. Like it's insane bad because you're not doing stuff with us. I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay.
It's a reach. It could be a reach. But that's
We
my
just
what
have
my
to-
research is.
We just have to help
That's
Steele because
good.
Steele's not going to be able to sleep tonight with this one.
No, I got it now. It's okay now. I'm okay
All right,
now.
good.
I didn't understand because what's insane? Like what happened, I guess was my big thing. Or what are you doing about it? Like I think that that's also something that's frustrating with Jen. It's like, all right, we know you have the yoga studio. We know that you have Ryan, but what are you doing about anything? That's where I understand Gina and the rest of the group's issues. It's like, yeah, okay, you're honest about what the hell's going on, this disaster that your life is at the moment. But the only scene we've seen you talking about getting out of it is you thanking your dad. And we don't really even know what your dad did because he didn't give you enough money to pay for your rent. Did he pay for you and the kids to stay in a hotel until you got to Ryan's? Like they never cleared that up. All she said was like, thank you. Groceries, like I don't know, but again,
Maybe he was paying for the hair and makeup.
I was just gonna say he's paid for her glam.
He's paying for glam in the Range Rover. Okay, at least you got rid of the car.
No, I think the Range Rover is Ryan's.
Is that what happened? He absorbed. Like that's another thing. You're tying yourself to a guy that you're not married to who's about to get arrested because he's a scumbag that wears Ed Hardy bedazzled denim jackets.
Yeah,
this is a bad scenario. She needs friends. She needs real friends. Someone that's gonna be like, dude. What the fuck are you doing? This is all bad. I don't know where that rant came from, but yeah,
I love a rant. I'm here for it. I love a rant. Okay. She does need friends. Maybe we're just manifesting friends. Also she needs friends, but she also is a grown woman and she needs to have a little more self-awareness. Like, you know what I mean? Like you don't need
where the sympathy goes away.
Yes.
It's
because you also like in the one moment you see with Ryan, and then sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. We get one clip of Ryan this episode, and she's like, "How was your day?" He's like, "Fuck my day. I want sexy time." I'm like, "Ugh."
I know. That was like
he grosses me out.
Yeah. That was also another thing. Like the sex scenes on camera, just don't do them. Like they just.
I don't
like
need
the
to see her take
bathtubs,
her top off. Yeah,
we're good. We're good. No, it's like it's hard because she was like it's really scary and it's challenging to try to learn things in your mid 40s that most people learned in their 20s. But also at the same point, I'm like, yeah, but I was even like dumber and less like life experience, and I figured it out in my 20s. Like so and yeah, we all make mistakes along the way. Like my first job out of college, I laugh. I made $27,500 as my salary. So yeah, I got myself into some credit card debt pretty fast, but I got myself out of it. I learned how to budget. Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, Jen, it's hard for me to feel bad for you because like, I would argue the fact that most of us learned it in our 20s means you should pick it up even faster in your 40s.
Yeah, good call.
Stellar point. Yeah.
If 23-year-old Abby can figure it out, 45-year-old Jen can figure it out.
Exactly.
If minor league baseball Steel can figure it out, like she can figure. I had no fucking money, but you guys got anything else? This was so much fun.
This was a blast. No,
No,
thank
I
you
had
guys
a great time.
Yeah.
I think we've really mentioned it all. We've covered
We
it.
have.
Yeah,
We certainly
All
have.
we'll have to do
topics.
this. We'll have to do this again during a different show. Maybe we'll do this once a housewife season.
I love that idea.
I think that's a
I'm
great
into
idea.
that. I'm into it.
We'll reconvene for a meeting of the minds and talk about who's having sex with who and how many times. The
Yeah.
important
And
question.
penis size. Penis size. Too,
And
don't
penis
forget.
size.
And
yes,
diddling.
always.
Yep.
And diddling. I hope everyone says diddle this weekend. If there's one takeaway, I'd like everyone to
and
incorporate
do it
that.
in a way where it's like a joking manner, where you just casually say it and be fully serious, and then see how others around you react. So that's
like
what
that.
that's the
That'll work,
takeaway that we'd like for you all listening, is just throwing a little diddle in your conversations.
I kind of want somebody to use it dead serious. Now that you said use it in a joking manner, I want somebody to try to say it like in a very serious moment, but not as a joke. Be like, let's diddle. Something like heavy-handed. But that's all I got. Y'all got anything else?
That's all I got too.
Vanessa feels diddled now, so she's good.
Well, on that note, thank you everyone that tuned in, and thank you for coming out. Do you guys have anything to plug before we sign off here? Anything coming up or anything like that?
We're our summer's ending, so we're kind of getting back into the swing of like kids in school. So we don't have anything exciting coming up, but we do still have our podcast and our Instagram account at Real Moms of Bravo.
Well, everybody listening, go give them a follow. We don't have anything. I don't know. We probably do. I forget.
Your handles are Brav Bros
at Brav_Bros. Yes, for your listeners, we are at Brav_Bros. Give us a listen, give us a follow, subscribe on YouTube. We're trying to drive up the YouTube number, so subscribe on there. But other than that, no, now we're just dog days of summer over here. But thank you again. This was an absolute blast, and we'll definitely do it again soon. We'll see what housewife franchise is coming back soon, and we'll line up for a meeting of the minds, talk some diddling and sizes. All
Perfect.
right, everybody. We'll see you.